Like they slapped the heavy sticker on it.
Because they used to remember that little thing they have right before you walked on, where it was like nobody ever put it in there, nobody cared.
Yeah, now everybody does.
Now they care because they can get money from you.
Yeah, so or you just that's how everybody's like bringing 2 carry-ons.
Well, that's what they do now. They stuff everything. Yeah.
But she overstuffed a really big suitcase, but she did help me carry it up a couple flights of stairs. But we got it all. Everything's done. Everything's good. So that's dorm move-ins complete
so wait,
for the Phillipses.
She did carry something?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She did.
All right.
Mostly it was like posters.
Well, they're heavy. I can see you sweating through your third shirt, carrying a box, bumping up against the walls, sweat pouring all over you. You're breathing heavy, and she's got a poster in each hand.
And the thing is, it wasn't even that hot, and I still went through 2 shirts.
I
brought a third.
I am. Sweaty Jet.
I am.
So,
but no, we're all good. So next time I do this will be dorm move out. Mm-hmm. But that's not till May.
You know what I said to my son yesterday? I said, okay, I expect you to carry more up the steps than your phone. You understand that, right?
Yeah. Well, and, they'll give you things like, well, I didn't really know where it was going to go. I'm like, it's not my room.
Right.
Like, otherwise, I can just drop this bleepity bleep in the hallway.
No problem.
I'm out.
I'm not living here.
The worst one ever, and I didn't have to do this yesterday, though. The worst one, and I'll move on, because some of you may be doing this, and I just want you to know there is life after having to do this. And I might have told this already last week. I can't remember. The worst one ever was my oldest daughter's freshman year move in at UMD. I think I did say this. And I had to carry her dorm fridge by myself up 4 flights of stairs. There was no elevator in this particular dormitory in College Park. And there's people walking by me, right? And they're like, some of the looks are like sympathy. Some are ridicule. Some are just like this wonder and amazement. Of like, how is this, 5'10", 170-pound man carrying this refrigerator by himself? And I'm like, well, I've just taken years off my life.
Oh, absolutely. You have no feeling left in your forearms or elbow.
It was, seriously, I didn't. It's also those things like when you hold, like, I remember doing this in like PE class or something where you hold like the weights out and then you put them down and then your arms almost float back up. That's what it felt like.
Sure. And let me ask you this. Was it one of those where it wasn't so much, oh God, it's heavy, but you had to.
Yeah, it was awkward. It was just awkward enough to just not awkward enough to be able to carry by yourself, but also like it was. You couldn't have 2 people carry it. No. With the way the stairwells were.
Yeah, that was my thing.
Like I had to do it by my wife was like, "You want me to?" I was like, "I don't think you can."
And you get your arms just enough around it to hold it, but it's not comfortable.
Oh no! And I'm holding it. I can't do it like justice, but I'm like rocking backward, and I'm like one wrong step,
you're dead.
And because I can't fall forward.
There's no
right. There's no you can't fall forward with it.
No.
And so, but anyway, but again, for those of you who are rookies at this, again, there is life after college dorm move-in. And it my suggestion, take an extra shirt if you haven't moved your kids in yet. If you're like me, even if you're not like me, take an extra shirt, maybe 2, drink some cold water, and then carve out time for a beer as soon as you're done.
Absolutely.
Because you deserve it.
Yep, and make sure that you do know where the nearest urgent care is.
Just in case.
In case you need it.
Just in case. Mm-hmm. But, no, good to be back. Appreciate you allowing that to happen, sir. We got a lot to get to on today's program. I will react to some of the things that Shane Beamer and his players had to say in a very extensive press availability yesterday. We also, I want to kind of jump on this real quick, and then we'll talk plenty of Gamecocks. And I may come back around to this. I may not. It depends on how some of y'all feel. But I heard briefly about the John Mateer thing. Somebody hit me on Monday on Twitter and said, I guess the NCAA can't worry about John Mateer because they got to worry about Rasul Faison. And I was like, I don't even know what John Mateer did. So I looked it up. And I see, oh, okay. And at first, my initial thought, and I told Terry this earlier, my initial thought was, this is not even real. Like someone has just taken a screenshot of potentially John Mateer's Venmo account somewhere. And for those of you who don't, John Mateer is the new quarterback at Oklahoma. He's had a very good couple of years at Washington State, transferred to Norman this year, and is expected to revamp that offense. And, one of the lines said, in terms of what the Venmo payment was for to this other guy who was a teammate of his, sports gambling. And I'm like, all right, somebody's just
somebody just screwing around. That's what I thought too when I first saw it. Yep.
So yesterday, again, I was detached, doing the things I needed to do as a parent, and I finally got around to checking in on what was going on in the sports world, and I see that he's made a statement. So I'll read the statement. I'm like, oh, okay, you made a statement, and of course he's denying it. And I'll just say, to be serious and blend the serious with the snarky and whatever else, yeah, I believe the kid. Now, and I told Terry, I think some Texas fans. And potentially Oklahoma State fans, although the Bedlam game, sadly, is done, which is stupid. And another rant I could go on. But anyway, they would like to wish this into existence.
Sure.
That this kid, A, is betting on sports, and B, is stupid enough to put on the, 4 line sports gambling. And all it did was make me think of, now look, Terry and I are in our 50s. So we didn't have Venmo.
No, we didn't.
If I owed a buddy $5, $10, whatever, he got a 5 or a 10, right? But I thought, if I had Venmo, the things that I would have put, even if somebody had loaned me $5 to go get a sub,
right,
or a Big Mac, the things that I would have put on those lines. Some of them might have been NC-17.
Oh, absolutely.
And certainly at least would have raised lots of eyebrows, because that was the kid I was when I was between like 15 and 22. I was smart ass now. And I freely admit it and know it and understand it and to some degree embrace it. But back then I was worse. And I'd have put I'd have put vile things,
there would have been things I would have put in there that could have got me arrested, maybe, because they were so vile. And I'm like you, and I have Venmo now, and I explained this yesterday on the show. Is like, look, I still do it, 'cause I think that line is none of your business. Why I'm giving somebody money, right?
Right there. I'm an American. That's why. Damn it.
I can do it because I got the money and I want to do it. So I'll put dumb things on there like, for that illegal stuff you brought me back from Mexico, it's like, I can't tell you because if my girlfriend finds out, she'll break up. Again, I'm not.
Statute of limitations not yet hit.
I'm not like the really dirty version of me from my younger days.
Right, I'm not either.
But I still do smart ass stuff.
Yeah.
Because I just want to have some fun, joke around. And two, hey, Venmo, it's none of your business why I'm giving somebody money, right? So my first thought, when I talked about yesterday, was the kid was kidding around and being a goof, like you are at 18.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say this. He would have to be maybe the dumbest human being on the face of this earth to be at Washington State on scholarship as a quarterback and not only gamble, but then put it in the line on Venmo, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
And so I 100% believe the kid. And to some degree, look, as long as, I don't even want to go down the other road, because it's just, I just think that this is, and like, and again, I come back around to this, whose life is so bleeping empty that they're doing this and digging in. And then two, and I thought, like I told Terry, I was yesterday years old when I learned that part of Venmo is technically like a social media app. Like, why? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
I don't want to mix my money in social media.
That just doesn't, I didn't know that. I honest to God, and look, my girls and my wife have Venmo. I have a different service on my banking app. And I don't have a Venmo account. I know what it is. I know who owns it. I know it's incredibly popular and very easy to use, blah, blah, blah. That's great. I just had no idea that a component of it was basically like social media. You can go scrolling through. Again, hey, Venmo, turn that off.
Let me tell you, that's why I put Smart Alex stuff on there, because you can sit there, and when you go to the Venmo, it'll tell you, like all of a sudden you go, well, why is my neighbor Bob giving this Sally woman $500?
I mean, what are we? I don't know. But I thought like the whole thing just became rather absurd. And I as I said, I kind of all found out about it, not at once, but I briefly saw something about it, didn't pay much attention to it. And then yesterday, like explanations in Oklahoma, and we'll look into it, but we didn't find anything, and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like what are we like? What have we turned into here? Yeah, well, that some rando Texas fan is so desperate for anything to happen to Oklahoma that they'll go digging and looking and whatever else.
Remember,
but
it reminded me of that a few years ago when someone was digging into baseball players' social media accounts when they were teenagers and trying to find awful things they said so they could post it up.
yeah, I don't know.
You know what, man? My mind just doesn't work that way.
No, I
don't get it.
But again, I'm glad Oklahoma came out and said, "Hey, look, we didn't find anything. You know, we looked around, we didn't. There's nothing to this." So, I wanted it. But again, there are a couple of the other things, like I said, are not just the Mateer thing itself, but how. Again, why is a financial payment service adding a what amounts to a scrollable social media component to the app? I that part I didn't get, and I don't look. I got plenty. I'm just not like being an old dude here, like old man shouting at cloud. That just doesn't make sense to me. That's all. No. I got plenty of things I could do. Look, my kids keep me up to date on all kinds of stuff.
Right.
I mean, I've seen more TikToks than I need to, I assure you.
God, ain't that the truth?
But at the same time, like, anyway.
No,
so,
I'm with you. It's not like me going, I tell you what, I don't understand.
How do you work this device? It's not that.
No, it's just the idea, because I have Venmo. I just think it's, I don't
Yeah, they know the one I have, and believe me, I know how to send money, reluctantly, but I do it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all my kids care about is they hit that send button, and they don't care about anything else. But yeah, so I'm like you. I'm just like, first of all, again, maybe we're just too private in our old age. But I don't need to tell you why I'm giving people money. Two, I don't need to have people see me why I'm giving people money.
Right.
I just want to give somebody money.
Yeah,
that's all I want to do.
Yeah,
it ain't tough.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's none of your business. But anyway, so good for you, John Mateer, to and being again, like I said, I'm going to clean it up for what I told Terry earlier, but I would have put things like, escort service. Right. Only it would have been worse.
Oh, mine would have been 100 times worse, but I know where you're going.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
I would have done things like that just to see how far you can push someone.
Yes, I would have done all sorts of vile things like that.
I could go on and on, but
those guys are calm.
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
Like sports gambling. That's almost that's like rated PG at worst for the things that I would do.
Absolutely, I'm with you, my man.
So, so you kids out there, you remember that, but.
Yeah, remember how vile Jay and Terry could be.
Yeah, I mean, we urge that kind of smart assery for some of you. All right, we got a lot of Gamecock stuff to get to. Our buddy McGee Moody's going to drop by later on to hang out with us for a little bit. Looking forward to that. I did scare young Cale Wilson earlier. I may share that story. I did too. I didn't really seek to the way that it happened.
It was perfect though.
And I unfortunately, it was during a commercial break, because if it had been on video, that would have been funnier.
I tell you what, from what you told me, I wish I would have seen it.
Well, and
I really do.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because Cale's like Elijah; he's tall.
Oh yeah.
So when he shoots up out of a chair, frightened, it's quite a scene, man.
You got to tell the story in a little bit. What you
I will. Really I'm not gonna keep that one from you. We got some NFL stuff to get to, including how much the Cowboys are worth, and every other team, and the Panthers even. I'm surprised at how much the Panthers are worth. Would you pay for that? We'll get into that, but a lot of Gamecock stuff on the other side as the Wednesday postgame show rolls on. Love telling you about Griffin Pools and Spas. The late, great Stanley Griffin founded this family-owned company back in 1976. They're still running strong today, where they have always been in Lexington. Listen, you know what building a pool is all about, right? If you don't have a pool in your backyard and you want one, you can pretty much envision what that's like, right? But they have custom pool design. They have a commitment to a very aggressive schedule. In other words, they want to get in there and they want to get out of there and they want to make you happy as quickly as possible. But they want to do it the right way with top quality construction, minimized disruptions due to that construction. Because look, they're digging a big deep hole in your yard, right? And the other things that go along with it. Saltwater pools, low maintenance equipment installation. They're with you from start to finish. And again, quality equipment and maintenance supplies. That's why these folks have been in business now nearly 50 years. And they will be in business 50 years starting next year. Check them out online. Learn more. GriffinPoolsandSpas.com. All right, welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on here on a Wednesday. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. We do have start bench drop today. We didn't have one on Monday because we were really busy with the big Blanchard announcement. And then I wasn't here yesterday, so I promised to get start bench drop back. So let me do that before we do anything else. And then I know we have a poll question, speaking of the Blanchard stuff, that I want to get to, and then we'll hear from Shane. Today's start bench drop, this is as alphabetical as I could make it based on the league. that is in question here. Start, bench, drop these preseasons. Major League Baseball, spring training, NBA Summer League, or what we're in now, the NFL preseason. Surprised the NFL hasn't come up with a kitschy name to make these August games almost feel like they matter. NBA Summer League. At least it's got a title. And spring training, while it's not like a trademarked name,
but it's spring training.
But it's spring training. It evokes this new sense of what spring is. A rebirth, and my team. Hey, the Pittsburgh Pirates could actually win 110 games.
Yeah.
In March.
You really think they say that in Pittsburgh?
They used to.
In a decade, they can win 110 games in a decade now.
Yeah, it's sad.
It is sad.
Did you see that the Braves were down last night, then took the lead, and then lost by 8?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that last night.
I can't remember who they were playing.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk about it later.
No, I don't want to talk about the Braves.
But what you're saying, spring training should be trademarked by Major League Baseball, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I don't. Is it too late? I don't know. I guess
I don't know. But think about it. We all use that term of spring training. We all know we're talking about baseball.
Yeah,
it's automatic, right?
Yeah.
So they should. But again, that would mean baseball was thinking.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. The NFL, at the very least, I'm surprised they don't have some big corporate sponsor for the preseason.
Oh, they will.
Because, preseason presented by.
I'm kind of serious. Yeah, because now they've moved all these games to home venues, whereas they used to take them all on the road because nobody cared, and now nobody cares. But you have to buy the season ticket package, which includes the home games.
Yeah, my buddies, I have buddies of mine who have season tickets to the Ravens, and they hate the fact they have to buy the preseason as part of the package.
So start, bench, drop, Major League Baseball, spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason.
My start's easy. The bench and the drop are going to be tough.
All right.
But my start's easy.
My start's easy too.
Now, I'll be honest with you. Let me ask you this.
This one could be easier. This one could be easier.
I'll throw this at you.
Okay.
And maybe it's just me because we've already established we're angry old men screaming at Venmo.
Yes. That's right.
So let's be angry old men at something else.
And all these phone applications.
I tell you what. Can you help me with my VCR? Do you have less of a care about watching preseason games, spring training games, NBA Summer League? Has the preseason of sports become less important to you as you've gotten older?
Yes.
Same here.
Yes.
Same here.
I still, again, there is something, and we're probably giving it away now, right? There still is something about maybe tuning in for a spring training game, like the second week of spring training. And like, hey, the boys are back.
Yeah.
There they are.
There's something about that.
And then it becomes like the All-Star game because by the third inning, I'm like, I don't know who the hell that is.
I'm done. But it's
he's 19 years old. Went to high school in Mission Viejo. I'm like,
I just feel like I'm like, look, tell me when everything's for real, and then I'm engaged, I'm locked in. But again, you turn. Honestly, that and we know some of them because we watch college football. But you flipped on that Hall of Fame game.
See, I would like get re-engaged in preseason if there were a college preseason game. But what I told you the other day, because Terry and I were going to do this one on Monday, and then we just kind of knew that the day was going to get too busy to try to fit this into, again, a big financial announcement that like we had on Monday. So we just decided to move it to today. But one of the things I told you was I will get as involved in the preseason as you guys do. Mm-hmm. Now, and that's how I feel. Like NBA Summer League. Listen, if you're a regular starter in the NBA, you're not touching Summer League.
You go to Summer League to sit in your street clothes and watch the rookies. The only thing about NBA Summer League that's interesting somewhat is watching some of the rookies for like a few minutes. Like Cooper Flagg. I put up with about 5 or 10 minutes of that, and I said, okay, I watch him run around a little bit. I'm done. Yeah. And like in the NFL, like Cam Ward, if I saw that the Titans were going to be on tonight,
or Shador the other night. I mean, apparently tickets were. I mean, it didn't sell out, but apparently people were like last minute ticket buyers up in Charlotte the other night.
Yeah, I mean, they
and I hope to God that nobody like went on StubHub and overpaid.
or actually wagered on it.
Or why? Well, they did that.
I know they did.
What I should have done is gone and bought like 100 tickets at $1
and then
a
sold
piece,
them
and then
for
sold
$5.
them. Yeah,
exactly. But I mean, that's the thing. I still have a curiosity for like rookies that are coming into the league.
Yeah, I mean, there is limited
very
value.
Limited. Very limited to me. For me as a fan. And for me as a fan, it's limited.
But again, the leagues, like I've actually been surprised that some head coaches this year in the NFL have said, yeah, we're going to probably have the starters out there a little bit more. I think some of them last year realized that there were slow starts. I agree with you, and I've talked with Deuce about this, and he talked about the value of the joint practice last week when they were the Browns were up in Charlotte. But I think the teams and the coaching staffs especially feel that they get more directly out of some of the good on good in these joint practices.
Yeah.
And almost all of them have at least one fight.
Well, you got to have a fight.
It's like hockey now.
At some point, you have the good on good beating up each other. It's 144 degrees. Some guy got over on you a couple times in a row. You know it's going to be on film.
Yeah.
Now you're annoyed, and now the fight starts.
Well, and then your position coach is like saying something to you, almost like like poking the bear.
Oh yeah, it's like you're gonna let that guy do that to
right?
you?
And
Really?
then the fight ensues, and then that's toughness.
I bet you some position coaches are trying to start the fight because they want to see the intensity
They want
of their guys.
who's got that dog in
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
Right. No, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our start bench drop today. Baseball, Major League Baseball spring training, NBA summer league, NFL preseason. Those are our start bench drop categories. Real quick before we hit the break, we'll kind of go off of one of these real fast. Number where was I Terry? Because it was short, and now I can't remember which one. I'll tell you what. Oh no, it was number 13. Number 13. The backup QB battle on today's list here. Carter Woods, Air Nolan. Speaking of preseason, how does Shane think his backups are doing?
This is gonna be fun because the cut has a time of 0:00. Jay, let's see if it actually
I have
plays
42
something.
on my list.
Let's see what happens, Jay.
Fingers crossed.
Great competition. Cutter and Air continue to improve. The first thing I would say, Jordan, is both those guys have really improved since spring practice. You see the work they put in over the summer. They're having fun out there. They're moving around well. And they each are flashing as well, as is Luke. So, I mean, Luke's the backup right now. Those guys are competing and pushing. They're all pushing one another. But we'll see. We'll certainly want to narrow things down as we get closer to game day here in a couple weeks. But those guys have all had really good moments and moments that they're young quarterbacks that you want to teach off of as well. But I'm excited about it. There's ability in that room, and they continue to get better.
How important is it to get that room going? I think it's maybe not being talked about. And look, I don't wish this upon Lenoris, but Lenoris missed, sometime at Kentucky, a half against LSU, a whole game against Akron,
Yep.
and was not himself because of that against Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Ashford did a fair job, a good job.
It was fine. It was okay.
But how important is it?
Let's talk about this on the other side. I want to throw a little something at you real quick, and I'll get your thought.
Start bench drop, Major League Baseball spring training, NBA summer league, NFL preseason. More on that question we just asked, and more from Gamecock Camp as the postgame show continues. All right, 26 minutes in front. Excuse me, 4 o'clock. I'm all choked up about my job. I miss it when I'm gone. Jay and Terry with you here. Start bench drop today. Major League Baseball spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason. And if you're so inclined and creative enough, what should we call the NFL preseason? It needs a kitschy name. But
Like
fall camp is not it.
Yeah.
Because it ain't fall. We just heard about a minute or so from Coach Beamer on what the quarterback battle looks like behind Lenoris Sellers. And you do, I think, have to ask yourself, how big a gap is there right now between Lenoris and everybody else, especially if, and I do not mean this in a disparaging way, but if Luke Doty is seen as the just absolute number 2 at this point, how much more work do Air Nolan and Cutter Woods have to do? And of course, Dante Reno moved on to go back to play for his dad at Yale.
Mm-hmm.
How much more do those guys have to do to overtake Luke? Is Luke actually playing so well that – because, look, you're going to miss a beat if Lenoris gets hurt.
Absolutely.
You do not have someone who is breathing down his neck at this point. And it can be good and bad. I mean, I think you want a bona fide number 1. This is one of those cases, Terry, certainly, the old quarterback adage of, hey, if you have 2 quarterbacks, it's because you don't have one.
Right.
So Carolina has their one. And there's obviously, that's a no-brainer. But how important is it? Because of what we've seen it. This isn't an if, almost. You don't want it to happen this year. Maybe it doesn't. Heck, if Lenoris Sellers plays 48 quarters of football, terrific.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Awesome. 48 plus, right?
Sure.
But, the odds may say, and I guess it won't be 48 because I don't think he'll, you'd like to think he might have a couple of fourth quarters where he's not needed.
Yeah, hopefully
in
the
a
South
couple
Carolina
of these
State
games.
game,
But, and you said you had a question to pose on this.
Here's my question. Because Shane said this about Luke Doty, who is right now is the backup quarterback.
Right.
But one of the questions was, what's Luke's usage like during camp? What is he doing? Is he just a quarterback? Is he doing other things? And here was Shane's answer.
No, he's a really good football player. So, yes, he's still the number 2 quarterback right now. And, yes, he's continuing to work in a lot of areas. He's working on all of our special teams, all of them, meaning our 4 core, punt pressure, kickoff return. He's working on all those. He's working in the return game. He's just really smart. He's a talented guy, and he's improved as a quarterback. So, yes to all that.
All right, so he's working all the special teams.
Right.
Now, maybe this happens occasionally in other programs, but your backup quarterback is kind of important, right?
Again,
okay.
The old, what's the running gag? Most popular guy on the team.
Right. Because, God forbid, if something happens to your starter, you need your number 2 to go in there and at least hold his own. So you've got your number 2 guy on special teams, on coverage, on return, doing all this stuff, and I'm going, okay, not normal. But that speaks to who Doty is as a football player, to the positive of what he is as an athlete, right? But here's my question. Okay, if that's truly your number 2 guy, and he is right now, but he's doing all these other things, it's a little unorthodox for a second-string quarterback to do your backup. Is this the kind of thing where if you're South Carolina and you're sitting there with the door shut, are you hoping that Aaron Nolan can get a hold of this backup gig? That way Luke Doty can be the jack-of-all-trades guy and you can put a red shirt on Cutter Woods?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you want that yesterday.
That's my point. I'm sitting around going, man, Aaron Nolan can make this whole thing easier if he just steps up and becomes a true number 2. And then then Doty can be Doty. Cutter can redshirt, and you kind of move forward with kind of like a seamless process, right?
Yeah, and I wonder what that looks like from Mike Shula's perspective, in terms of how much time he can spend continuing to develop Lenoris to become, I'll just say it, a top 10 pick in the draft.
Right.
Relative to what he needs to do to make Lenoris the best quarterback at South Carolina in a long time and maybe the best quarterback in the SEC, which has a heavy competition level.
Mm-hmm.
And then making sure, based on past evidence, that when somebody comes in, while we may miss a beat, we don't want to be playing a different song.
Right. You don't want to be John Daly singing. Right.
I had a nightmare about that.
I woke up in a cold sweat. Ah! Sonny's like, "Are you okay?"
If y'all missed that Monday, be thankful. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But Terry played a real song. Well, not the whole thing, thank God. But
we couldn't get through the whole thing.
I was about to walk out.
My ears were starting to bleed.
I was about to walk out.
John Daly. If you ever get bored, go to YouTube. John Daly actually recorded an album.
If you get bored, hit yourself in the head with a hammer. It'll hurt less.
So, but I mean, I just feel like you're right. You don't want to be like totally off kilter, right? And when you bring in your backup, look, last year Robbie Ashford, he had the game of his life against Akron. God love him. He was really good.
He was good in that.
He threw it. He did everything.
I thought when Lenoris had to come out in the first half against Kentucky, I thought Robbie did well. But I think
the LSU game.
I think he had a minute or two there, but then LSU got to him.
And that's what you want to avoid. Now again, you're a backup for a reason, to be fair.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to where everyone's saying, "Man, if Lenoris didn't get hurt and couldn't play that second half, the way they were cooking LSU in the first half on offense, God knows they would have done in the second half, because obviously there was a drop-off when Sellers got hurt." We've heard national talking heads go back to that LSU game and say, if Lenoris Sellers doesn't get hurt, I believe they beat LSU.
Like a lot of people, I think a lot of people feel that way, and the game was certainly trending in that direction.
I don't disagree with that.
Again, that's one of those things, as my good friend Michael Haney would always say, you can't take that in a vacuum. LSU responds accordingly as well in terms of some of the things they could do defensively, but they didn't have to do as many of those things. And I don't disagree with the notion that Carolina was on the way. So I do think that we're not – I think there's so much, rightly, confidence in Lenoris and who he is, what he can do, that maybe this year's backup – it's almost like, well – I'm just more worried about who starts next year when Lenoris is playing in the NFL. And I just wonder how much I'm sure the team is on this. Sure. And I'm not saying we as fans need to be, worrying about this for the coaching staff.
Right.
But I feel like that's been almost not an afterthought, but maybe it kind of is.
No, I think it is, because you know who number one is clear, right? And you're not thinking about, no one thinks about, well, we're going to do about number two in case you need them. You just don't think that way, right? You just don't. Because, first of all, you don't want to put the negative juju in your head.
Sure.
Number one. And number two, everything's focused on the year that everyone hopes Lenoris Sellers has. When he's sitting in New York at the Heisman ceremony, he's sitting at the draft, getting picked in the, in the top 10 in the first round. No one's thinking about anything but that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's human nature.
Yeah. So, I don't want to dwell too much, but I do think it's something that we just haven't been spending a whole lot of time on.
I think it's an interesting conversation, if nothing else. Yeah.
And at some point, you still need to see, I think, that progression and development, because, again, no matter what Luke Doty does for this ball club, this is it for him.
Oh, yeah.
So you still would like to know, when you've played your bowl game in January or whenever it is, hopefully January, or maybe you're in the playoff, but let's not, get too far ahead of ourselves. But as you go into winter conditioning, all right, who was the number two? Because then that guy seems to have at least a little bit of pace ahead of the other guy in terms of being your number one next year. And we're always, in college especially, it's always a thought. Again, I'm not trying to rush our lives away.
Right. But still.
it's an interesting concept. So, and I'm glad Shane was asked about it yesterday. More from Coach. I will reshare that story again. I scared one of our newest employees here, Cale Wilson. I didn't even mean to scare him as bad as I did.
It was good.
So we'll do that, and Terry will open the vault as the post-game show continues. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of our first hour here on this Wednesday. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. Expanding our work down into the Low Country. We'll be on the air in Charleston's WIWF 96.9 starting on Monday. So now you're able to get us pretty much all up and down the coast. Not the entire coast, but most of it. PD, here. I mean, we stretch over, almost to Aiken, up to Newberry. And I'm telling you, every once in a while, even though you can't get us in, like, York County, I was on Billy Graham Parkway going to the Charlotte airport last year, 2 years ago. And I guess I just had turned the station down because it was kind of staticky. And then it was just, like, on, 3.
Uh-huh.
And we get up there, and all of a sudden, there we were. I got back into Mecklenburg County and into, going to the air. And I was like, huh. So, not to say you can do that all the time.
Yeah, every now and then.
And we have
clouds
the
right. And,
like the other day, we had somebody call us while they were on vacation up in Connecticut. And I was like, hey, thanks.
That app, man.
That was cool.
You use that little thing called a phone and just.
So that starts on Monday.
Yep, on Monday, 6 a.m.
All right, Chris wants to weigh in on the backup QB conversation we've been having. Hey, Chris, good afternoon.
Hey, Chris.
Good afternoon, guys.
How are you?
Uh-oh.
No, we got you. We got you. What's up?
Chris, you're here. Hey, Chris.
I've got you guys. I'm here.
We're with you, man. What do you got for us?
The Norris Sellers, great athlete. No doubt.
I agree. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. All righty. Well, he's not wrong.
No, he's not.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
We thank him for the heads up.
Write that down.
Yeah. Got that? Good. Go with that?
We'll see what these next scrimmages do to further enhance the backup quarterback conversation.
Yeah. Yes, because I think in a perfect world, they'd want Aaron Nolan to take the number 2 spot.
Or what? I mean, I don't know if they care. I think they'd like to because he's got a further year and he's been in a bigger program.
And the last thing you want is a true freshman backing up.
I don't disagree.
Cutter Woods.
But if you, I mean, look. But at some point, again, win the job, kid.
But you got to beat Luke Doty. And I think when Shane said Luke Doty's just the backup for now.
Yeah.
There's more competition. And again, if you could just let Luke Doty be Luke Doty and not have that added responsibility of being the true number 2, I mean, Doty can do a ton of stuff for you. How limited are you because he has to be your backup?
Right.
But if he's not the backup, then he can go run around and do whatever and be the athlete that he is. And then you got a guy in Aaron Nolan who was highly thought of coming out of high school being your backup, who's been in college now of over a year.
That's right.
But if Aaron Nolan can't win the job, he can't win the job, man. Like you said, go win it, dude.
Yeah.
Go win the gig.
All right. You opening today's vault?
Yes, I am. This is going back into 1979, sir.
The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Hit off the pitcher. To the third baseman. No play. Base hit. 3,000 for Lubrock. He's so typical of the man, Jack. He's knocked down on the pitch before, and then he turns around and hits a line drive off the pitcher that knocks him down.
Yep. Lubrock, 3,000th hit.
A lot of steals for that man, too.
Yeah, he had a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that generation before SportsCenter really popped. That's kind of gotten lost.
Yeah.
Hasn't it? I mean, you think about some of those
for a lot of those guys. Yeah, there's I know what you mean.
Time.
Like Steve Carlton and some of those guys that just aren't as talked about. Yeah. I always think though, and I don't want to turn this into something else, but I can always find a way to start talking about Hank Aaron. But I always we said this not too long ago. Take away each of Hank's 755 home runs, and he still has more than 3,000 hits.
Yeah, run that through your head.
That's how good he.
I mean, there were
but yeah,
guys.
Lou Brock, man, he set a bar.
Yeah, I mean, Lou
he set a bar.
What Lou Brock did, and again, it was old school. You stole a lot of bags, played some small ball.
You slap the ball around and get
Brock
on base.
Did. Every now and then he'd hit a homer. Really, his job was smack the ball over the field, get on base, drive the pitcher crazy by stealing bases.
And the Cardinals played that way for a long time. I remember
Willie McGee and those guys and Vince Coleman. That?
I mean, and especially, and people would say, Whitey Herzog, especially when he went to manage St. Louis after leaving Kansas City, they played on that old cement, basically. I mean, like so many clubs did, it was terrible. But to him, again, guys like Coleman and McGee just slap that ball off. I mean, it wasn't really cement, y'all, but again,
it
the
was close to
AstroTurf
cement.
was that stuff that, as I said, my dad's mom had it on her back porch.
Yeah, stuff was terrible.
It was green, and it fit over the patio.
Yep, I remember a preseason game. I was in the Vet in Philly, which is one of the worst surfaces in the history of the NFL. They were stapling it down 15 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah.
This big staple gun,
Right.
and they're stapling it down. So, that stuff was awful. But Whitey took advantage of that. He had a bunch of fast guys, hit it on the ground, take off and run.
Well, and I remember how big a deal it was. I'm sure you do too, when they traded for Jack Clark.
Because they had a slugger with all those
then
guys.
you got a slugger, because Jack was in San Francisco.
Yep.
And again, he wasn't quite Dave Kingman. But he could strike out a lot, and he could hit the ball a long way.
Jack put up some MVP numbers in that lineup
and
in St. Louis.
they won a World Series, and they went in '87 and lost the World Series, right?
Remember they beat the Harvey's Wallbangers in 82. They
Now,
won
was
the World
Clark there
Series.
then? I don't think he
I
was
don't
there
think
in
he was there
'82.
because Tommy Herr was like their cleanup hitter with 9 home runs or something.
Right.
But yeah, those Cardinal teams.
But yeah, they traded for Clark. But in '82, right? That was a good World Series, and but they just, I remember they slapped the ball around, man. And Lou Brock was one of the again, but the Cardinals had a way for a while.
And remember, the Cardinals, that trade was one of the greatest steals in the history of baseball. Getting Brock from the Cubs.
Yeah,
There's some
Hour
dude
two.
named Ernie or something.
All right, coming up. All right, 4 o'clock here on a Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back in. Second hour of the postgame show coming at you from the Herndon Chevy Studios, downtown Columbia, South Carolina, along with Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Got our start bench drop out there. I just realized I'll blame Terry.
Okay,
that we
me
didn't,
too. I blame Terry.
Yeah, we didn't get to the
Damn Terry.
the poll question. So we'll do that here in just a second. And we welcome back into the studio one of our favorite guests and now enjoying life in the private sector.
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
You like that? I like that. You like
But
that?
long time friend of the show and Gamecock Swim and Dive head coach McGee Moody. Now just getting to be husband and dad. And,
Yep, living life.
we'll get you to. I'll get you to retell that story that you just told me in just a second about it because he's got one of his daughters being recruited now and a different perspective.
Much different.
I like
You
that.
know what's funny about that? Whoever's recruiting her has no idea about the dad.
Well, they might, right?
It's like, no, dude, because McGee's going to go, you know how many years I did this, pal? You know what you got?
A lot of them know. I'm still
Okay.
friends with a lot of those
Okay,
guys. So
all right.
You were a head coach for like what, almost 20 years.
almost 20 years. Yeah, I was 14 years here in
Yeah.
South Carolina,
Yeah.
and so College of William and Mary before that. But total as an assistant and grad assistant, a little bit over 25 years.
Yeah. So yeah, you got experience.
Yes.
Couple of things. I mentioned this earlier. So again, I don't like telling a story about it. Now some of you are just tuning in, but we have a young man fresh out of college named Cale Wilson who is working with us here. He's board op, and Cale will be helping out with the high school football show. And
Absolutely.
grown up, I've known his family a long time, and he's a huge sports fan. We're excited to have Cale here. Cale is also very tall,
Yes.
and this matters a little bit for this story. But today, during the halftime show, Cale was running the board while Tyler was over here, and Jack Veltri was a virtual co-host today. And during a break, and Cale and I could not care less. I want to what I'm getting ready to say. I could not care less.
You
but
were just having some fun with
yeah.
it.
So I walk in, and Cale is just it's a commercial break. I wouldn't have done this on the air because that. But you gotta. It's not like initiation or like hazing.
Yeah, a little fun.
But Cale had his hat on backwards. He was wearing a backwards baseball cap. It was a sharp-looking Gamecocks cap of some sort. And he's got his headphones on over the backwards cap. And now, of course, those of you who follow us on YouTube know that both the production room and the studio here are visible on the cameras. And so I throw the door open to the control room. And like, hey, turn your hat around. We don't do that around here. And he tears the hat off. And Cale's like 6'4", 6'5". I mean, how tall is it? Right? Is he?
Yeah.
He's tall.
He's taller than Elijah.
Shoots up out of his chair. Eyes as big as plates. And he was like, what? I mean, then he took the hat off. He took it off. And I mean, he didn't like turn pale white or anything, but
Well, we had to scrub down the room. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, but I did. I threw the door open, and
a little more background on Cale is he's an unbelievably nice
he's
guy, right?
he's incredibly kind,
and he wants to do everything he can to fit in.
Yeah.
He's new.
All he was trying to do was to impress Jay.
Yeah.
That's all he was trying to do.
Exactly.
That's it.
And like I'll give you two quick points on. Like when geez, we've had him here about a month, right? Maybe.
Yeah,
And he's hung out a little bit here and there.
Yeah, here and there. While he was finishing school, he would come and hang.
He knows us to a point.
Yeah.
And one day he looks at me, and we're off the air, and he said something. He put a cuss word in the sentence. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I go, "Yeah, we don't do that here. we don't use profanity here." He just looked at me.
That's terrible.
And finally, I went, "Dude, welcome to radio." It's like off the air. That's like every other word used in radio. But he got like nervous. I said, "We don't do profanity here."
But he shot up out of the chair.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's so committed, right? Last week, I was talking about this yesterday with all the stuff. I mean, we've had, obviously, and I talked about Bill. We hope Bill, gets healthy and everything goes well for Bill Gunner because of health issues. But also, David Dare, I don't think you know this. Dave was doing his walks. He does like 9-mile walks now. Dave does around Target and Walmart and all this other stuff, and he shoplifts. But anyway, so he's doing this. So he's doing this big. He does this walking. So he's getting back to his apartment, and like cats or squirrels or I don't know, honey badgers or whatever run in front of him, and so he kind of moves. And when he did, he misstepped and he fell, and his face broke the fall.
Oh no!
And he sends me a picture. He's like, I mean, he's all busted up, right?
Right.
So we had that. And, and then like today, Ed Bird's sick. And so Kale last week had strep throat. He hits me up like, I've got strep throat. So I'm like, okay, well, stay home. And then he comes in on Friday. And like Ed Bird, who, has had his own health issues,
Yes.
Ed's like, get him the hell out of here. He's got strep throat. And so I said to Kale, I told you, stay home. He goes, I just want to show you I was committed.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not the way to show you're committed.
No, that's not how we do it.
That's not it.
The commitment is to not come in.
So the way we are right now, put yourself in bubble wrap, dude, and no none of this. So
We're
he
going to go
showed
into
up,
COVID quarantine again.
right, exactly. So he shows up Friday with strep throat to show he's committed. So that's the guy we're dealing with, McGee. He's the nicest guy in the world. He wants to show how committed he is, and Jay's making him pee.
I did. And I was going down to see our production guy, Chris. So I just started laughing and I just kept on walking down the hall. He's like, you scared me. I was like, hey, welcome to the party, kid.
Welcome in, bud.
So like,
Hey, those initiations were a lot worse back in the day.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
So, but he did. And he just texted me. He's 6'7". My bad.
Oh, really?
6'7".
Is he 6'7"?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. He's tall,
Man.
but he didn't. When he shot up, I think he hit about 8.5 feet. He hit the ceiling. But that's what we do around
Nice
here.
work by you.
That's thank you.
That's
And
how
again,
we
I
roll,
didn't. It was just one of those things. I just was like,
That was some
this will be
fun.
funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I didn't come in and play. Like how could I get? I didn't even know he was here until I got here like 2:15, and I'm like, oh, Kale's in. So I just waited for a commercial break and decided I was
So-
going to do something.
Yeah, so we have two other new folks coming in here soon. So you have to think of other ways to skill. You know what you do? Dress code.
Okay,
Dress code's
I got-
wear a suit.
I
You have
got
to,
ways.
Producers wear suits.
I got ways. But if they're listening now, we just kind of blew it.
Yeah, we screwed that up.
I don't know if they are. But anyway, we'll find out. We also have a poll question today before we talk more with McGee. McGee, by the way, is chomping at the bit. And I've said this for years about him. He grew up in the state of Alabama, and I think they like college football over there too.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I've heard.
And so McGee is as rabid a college football fan as any of you listening. So I know he is chomping to discuss some of what's going on.
For the past, however many, 17, well, I guess 14 years while I was coaching, when I would come in, we were either talking Olympics.
Yep.
We were talking swimming.
Yep.
But we would always touch on SEC football.
There was always football.
But
It's always football.
now, as a retired coach,
Yep.
I can come in to talk about SEC.
That's right. You can.
He really let
Oh,
loose
he can
now.
let loose on the 4-letter words.
I can.
or the
I can. My fandom this year has reached like epic proportions.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
in
look,
terms of just my obsession with it needs to start.
Yeah.
It needs to start next week.
I get it.
K-State and Iowa State can't get here quick enough because I'll tell you in a little bit some of where I've found myself trying to prepare for this season is depressing. In some way.
Our poll question today, how do you feel about the corporate signage and logos in college stadiums, especially here at Williams-Brice? A, makes money, I love it. B, don't love it, but I get it. Or C, absolutely hate it. Those are your three choices for the poll question. You can find that at 1075 The Game on Twitter. I've retweeted it from the station feed as well. And we have a start bench drop today. Start bench drop, Major League Baseball's spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason. My best hit so far is from Jason, who says none of them. And Jason, that might be the right answer.
Yeah, that might be the winner.
Yeah, it might be. But hit us up at jphillips1075, or you can hit us on the Firehouse Subs text line 803-404-6100 to do that. Before we do get into a lot of football with McGee and have more from Shane, do want to give McGee his props. And I remember how much we spoke of Akram Mahmoud, who was one of your great swimmers from Egypt and set all kinds of records here at Carolina. and was obviously such a dynamic swimmer. He has now been one of the new inductees into the South Carolina Hall of Fame, and I know how what kind of proud dad you are, but this makes you proud.
Yeah, it really does.
Coach.
I got a call from the university, from the athletic department, and they said, hey, we would really like you to be the one to call and tell him.
Man, nice.
And I was like, oh, I mean, I've had some pretty cool things happen to me over my coaching career. I've got to go to a lot of really cool places. That was absolutely one of the coolest, because you get a chance in that moment, you get a chance to realize how much this place and how much the whole University of South Carolina athletic department, Gamecock Nation, the university, how much it means to these student athletes. And so I had a chance to call Akram. We had to schedule it because he's back in Egypt.
Right.
So it was either a very late night or a very early morning or something like that with the time change. But
What was it, about 8 hours? 8 hours?
Yeah, 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah.
And so, which made for interesting recruiting, by the way. But I did get a chance. We got on Zoom, and he was like, Coach, it's great to see you. You know, how are you doing? I said, I'm good, man. I said, but I didn't call to talk about me today. And he was like, well, you know, how are the girls doing? And, you know, he wants to, how's Miss Monica doing? You know, he wants to know everything about the family. I said, Akram, you know, stop. I have something really important I've got to tell you. and so I said, you've been inducted into the University of South Carolina Athletics Hall of Fame. And he sat there for a minute, and he didn't speak. Yeah. And I said, I thought it, you know how Zoom's freeze up.
Yeah.
And I was like, hello? And he looked at me, and he goes, Coach, are you serious? And I said, yeah. And he started to kind of tear up a little bit. Yes. And he goes, Coach, when I came to school here, all I wanted to do, I thought maybe I could help the team in some way. He's like, I never thought this was possible for somebody like me. And so, like, you felt in that moment how much, you know, when you're going through that 4 years with these student athletes, it's a grind. Mm-hmm. But you get a chance years later to kind of give them that news, and you see how important it really was to them. It was a really, really cool experience. One that I obviously hope I get to do again, because that was awesome. Yeah. But really proud of Akram. The things he did here, absolutely amazing. You know, he was, I think he was an 11-time All-American. He was an Olympian, four-time SEC champion in the mile. He never lost a 1650 at SECs. And for those people that don't really know swimming, the SEC swimming is just like every other sport in that if you are, you know, your top 10 teams in the SEC or your top 20 in the country. And so it's an incredible, you know, achievement for him. But he was really quick to thank his teammates, and, you know, Coach, I got to call Tom Parabonio and tell him about this, because, you know, he had as much to do with this as I did. And I was like, you know, they're a good bunch, man. It was really good, and what a great experience, you know, for me. But I can't wait to see him get to accept that honor in a month or so, a couple months.
Yeah, it's that's I didn't even think about the notification part of it, you know, and what that would be like for somebody like that. So, but yeah, I mean. And you and I used to talk about it all the time. I mean, yeah, SEC, what do you think of in football, baseball, now in basketball, right? Is it the best in the country? Yeah, it is. And it's the same thing in swimming. You know, absolutely. And then, of course, you used to always tell us that the U.S. trials were harder than the Olympics because
100% still are.
Look at all the times. But happy for you, happy for Akram,
Thank you so much.
and it's a big deal. And you know, he helped elevate your program.
He changed the trajectory all around. Yeah. Those men in that class, they took our men's team to the highest point it's been. I want to say, I think the 1987, 88 team was right up there with them. Right. But it was as high as it had been in 35, 40 years. And even what they're able to do today, they kind of set that groundwork for that and did some great things on a national and international level.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Our good friend McGee Moody with us. We'll get into some more from Coach Beamer. We'll get McGee's take on, again, now that he can just be a fan of the Gamecocks, what that feels like. And, again, our start bench drop and our poll question. So much more to do on a busy Wednesday. It's the Postgame Show. Love telling you about integrated media and all the ways they can make your life even better when it comes to watching what you watch. Football, basketball, baseball, movies, YouTube. Yeah, they can do that better too. There's a lot of good stuff on YouTube these days. I'm surprised how much YouTube I watch. Anyway, do it all better with integrated media. And maybe you are now streaming in more of your entertainment options. That means you need Wi-Fi that is very reliable all the time, everywhere, because you might have kids at the house that are also gaming and doing all the things they do, and you don't want that one spot where everybody kind of congregates, right? No, professional-grade Wi-Fi built for the home. Maybe you want an outdoor home theater system to enjoy our nice fall weather, your favorite games and teams, and still be able to, hit the grill or the pool and have all that stuff outside. One room, whole house, indoors, outdoors, Wi-Fi that works everywhere. Get ready for football and so much more. 803-948-8327. Integrated Media. Welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on here on a Wednesday afternoon. Jay and Terry, our buddy McGee Moody hanging out with us here, one of our favorite guests. And those of you who are longtime listeners of the station, I mean, McGee's he's like, again, for non-beat writers, right, for non-media guests, McGee's probably like top 10 on, regularity, at least when I've been hosting shows. I can't speak for other shows and their regular guests, but in terms of non-media types,
Yeah.
he was him and Coach McDonald, Langston.
Another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Langston. Yeah.
So-
Coach McDonald, McGee. I'm trying to think who else.
I don't even know.
We got some country singer that pops through every now and
Patrick
then.
is on a lot. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
guy.
In fact, he texted me the other day. He's promoting something soon. I was like, we'll get you. But good to have McGee here. I'll first off, again, now McGee is out of coaching and is just a dad. So I say just a dad, just a husband. That's not a just. You know what I mean, though. You don't have to worry about some of the other stuff.
I get to be more of a dad and a husband.
But
now.
you also get to be a fan.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, McGee grew up in Alabama. I think most of your family. Now you went to East Carolina and swam
Yes.
at East Carolina.
Yes.
But a lot of your family's Auburn fans. But you've got some Bama folks too. So you grew up right with the college football's in your blood.
yes.
So there's that.
That's lightly. That's
Yeah,
putting it
I know.
lightly. Yeah.
And that's who you are now. So as you've been able to kind of see what Shane is doing now and what this team is looking like, how much more elevated is your both excitement and then how much fan angst do you feel yourself like reclaiming instead of being on campus and knowing a lot of the coaches and seeing a lot of the kids around and stuff? Like now you're not detached, but you're not as close. So do you get that sense of like, oh man, I don't know much about these guys anymore. I'm just ready to go see them
Well,
play.
yes.
Yeah.
To all of that. So, I mean, the first thing I'll say is one thing that never has left me. Like when I was a coach, I always wanted to be a student. I always wanted to learn. It didn't matter if I'd been coaching for 20 years. I was trying to find people, and it didn't have to be somebody that'd been coaching for 40 years or anything. I mean, it could be somebody in the sport for 2 years. I'm trying to learn these things. Well, along the way, one of the things I did was I got really good at just watching and evaluating how people spoke, what they, and I watched a lot of different coaches. Frank Martin and I were really good friends when Frank was here, and I used to go and I would sit and I'd watch a practice, and I would just watch how he would conduct himself, and I would watch, and you remember Frank was fiery when he stepped on a court.
That's one adjective.
That is,
nice way to
that's
put it.
yeah, but what people didn't see was 5 minutes later he's got his arm around
The teddy
the kid.
bear. Yeah,
and he's building this kid back up,
Yeah.
and it was very much. I remember when I was at the Naval Academy and I was coaching there. One of the things that they used to talk about is building young men and women into naval officers, and they literally meant building them. Like, we're going to break you down to next to nothing, and then we're going to build you back. And I watched coaches do that, and so I can't stop doing that now.
Right.
Like I watch Shane, I watch him in his press conferences, and I watch him the clips that Justin King and those guys put out, and I know a lot of that is that's put together, like they can control that, but I really like the way he coaches. Like, you can just tell on a practice field when you watch these practice clips from these guys, you can just tell the connection he has with the players, and I will tell you this. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that didn't matter. Like, it was very much, and there's a lot of old school, high school and college football players out there going, that's right, my coach threw chairs at me. He didn't care if I liked him or not. But now it is all about connection with the athlete.
Yeah.
That athlete wants that relationship, and Coach Beamer is a master of that. He does it through recruiting. I think he does it, like I said, when he just little interactions with the players. He does it through who he puts on his staff. And so, am I excited? I'm a huge fan. A huge fan. I think it was a home run hire a few years ago. And yes, then to answer your second part of that question, I follow our office that I work in now. Everybody's huge Gamecock fans, and so we're talking about Gamecock football all the time. And we're talking about different positions. And is Faison going to get cleared this week?
Right.
We've been talking about that for seems like a generation.
Today, to make
200
it,
and what?
Today is day 218 of the Rasul Faison.
Part of me coaching too is also not surprised by that.
Matter of fact, I think McGee was coaching when this started.
That's right.
You know what? It kind of feels like that. But all that to say, like, yeah, you do. I want that first game to get here because I want to see what we're dealing with, what we're playing. And I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be really good. And I told you my fandom has gone to different levels. And one of the traditions that my youngest daughter and I have is every year is football season. She's a huge Carolina fan. One of our traditions is as football season gets closer, we pull up YouTube and we're watching some old games. A couple nights ago, it was last year's Oklahoma drubbing when we walked in there, and we enjoyed that couple of hours watching that. But I think you try to figure out. You're waiting for that first game. You want to see what they're going to look like, and there's a casual fan, and then there's people that are in deep, and so I think if you're affiliated at all with the University of South Carolina, if you are a fan, if you're a diehard, you're ready for that Virginia Tech game because you want to see what's going to be laid out on the table for the rest of the season, and are they as good as what we're hearing?
What do you look at fan wise? What's your? I got time. Yeah, I got time here. What's your biggest concern? And you can't say Lenore's when I ask you what you're most excited about.
Oh,
because that's too easy.
That's not fair, though.
That's too easy. I mean, you can, but what beyond? Okay, let's put it this way.
I think
beyond.
Was it Chris that called earlier that said Lenore Sellers is a great athlete?
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
That's a good call.
So, I mean, my concern, again, we talk about this all the time. We lost a whole lot of linebacker last year. And so, I mean, I know the coaches know what they're looking at, but we haven't seen any of that. So seeing what that's going to look like, I think most excited about, I think probably the defensive backfield. I think our defensive backs are stacked. I think they're going to be really, really good. You're bringing back a lot of guys. DQ Smith. You got Brandon Cisse that's coming in. Yes, we lost Nick Emanwari, but they look like they're hitting strides.
There's a lot of dudes back. I'm with you on that.
Jalen Kilgore
obviously is going to be.
They say Bakari Swain has been tearing it up in practice.
I think Kilgore. I think there might. Listen, there may be another first rounder that's emerging in there beyond Kilgore.
Kilgore's a nice player.
I mean, let's find that out. But I think that is. There's a lot of guys back there when you think about Collier and some of the other guys and Swain they've had their minutes, and they know what's expected and now it's a matter of just kind of taking that next step. And yeah, linebacker again that's going to remain my. I'm glad you said that one. Not that you agree with me because again Terry tried to get John Whittle to not agree with me about that. But
John he wanted to die on that hill with Jay. It's
right.
all right.
But there's bodies and there's talent and there's not just bodies. I mean these are there's a bunch of dudes 6'2", 6'3", 235, 240
athletes.
These are what you want in a linebacker.
They get off the bus, man. It's a football player.
They look the part, but can they go do it? And there's a lot of reasons to believe that the staff develops.
Yeah,
and because you've seen the proof. So I'm with you on those. And yeah, again, you can say Lenore's if you want to.
Lenore Sellers, 100%. I can't. Watching him progress last year, wow. I mean, at the end of the year, I think the 3rd and 16 run at Clemson, that's forever etched in history.
Absolutely.
That is a play where, I think myself and I would say probably 95% of Gamecock Nation as they're watching that game live, 3rd and 16 with the clock running out, you didn't feel real good.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he tears loose and it's done. And
he went through his progressions.
Yeah.
There were defenders there, and they couldn't tackle him. And those same Gamecock fans you mentioned all lost at least a year of their life. Maybe a
until Knight secures the pick.
Yeah, right,
no one feels good.
Right.
So there's that. More to do with McGee. We'll have some more from Coach Beamer. And again, today's start bench drop. Preseasons in the pros. Major League Baseball spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason, start bench drop. Those three. You're listening to the Postgame Show.
All the time we discuss the nest. because it's the place to go to. It's now Krager Showrooms, by the way, on Gadsden in the Vista. And Krager Showrooms, look, over 70 years of experience. They will help you if you want to redo the kitchen with new appliances, redo the bathroom, fixtures, lighting, plumbing. That's the place to go to because experience matters when it's your home. Last time I checked, it's kind of important to you. And all of a sudden, you spend a lot of money to get it. So you want it to be the way you want it to be. And when you're looking to make some changes like we just discussed, you call the Nest and you get set up with an appointment with an expert in the field that you're looking for. 803-978-2025. You call and say, I want to do this, I want to do that. They'll sit you down, go through your budget and your vision, walk you through the fantastic showroom at Krager Showrooms, and they'll get it done for you. 803-978-2025. Give them a ring. Accidents, we have a few. Garner's Ferry Road near Old Eastover Road. Hard Scrabble Road near Summit Parkway. Also I-20 westbound at Broad River Road, exit 65. 77 southbound at Killian Road, exit 22. Two-notch at North Grampian Hills Road. Also US 176 Broad River Road near Freshly Mill Road. Also closed because of road construction, Atomic Road, both north and southbound. Bridge blocked at Blink Bonnie Road between Belfield Road and Ridgetop Lane. Also, long-term construction on I-20 near Broad River Road, I-26 Broad River Road, Old Sandy Run Road, and I-26 and Hugie. Coming back, post-game show.
All right, welcome back in. Post-game show rolling on here on a Wednesday afternoon. Jay and Terry with you. Our good friend, Coach McGee Moody, hanging out with us. Start bench drop today. Got a lot of you hitting us. Start bench drop, Major League Baseball spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason. We'll get McGee to do this as well. Ray says start spring training, bench, NFL preseason, drop the NBA Summer League. This one says start NBA Summer League, bench Major League Spring Training, fun to attend in person. I can attest to that. Drop the NFL preseason. Dion says start baseball, bench NFL, drop NBA. And let's see, a couple more here. David says start NFL preseason, bench spring training, cut NBA Summer League. So there's a few. I got more to get to, and we got some on the Firehouse Subs text line, and we'll let Coach Moody do that in a bit. Terry Ford, if you would please, sir, cut on today's list. This is from Shane Beamer's press conference yesterday. And, of course, Nick Harbor came to South Carolina as a two-sport star, but focusing only on football this year. How's it been going? Here's what Shane had to say.
Yeah, he's. I'm glad Mazio said that. I'm really proud of Nick. He shared a lot of that with some of the players the other night, and it's pretty powerful listening to him. But he did. I mean, people think, oh, Nick Harbor just gave up track to run football. Like, that's an easy decision to make. That's not an easy decision to make when you talk about a guy that had the real opportunity to potentially run in the Olympics last summer. And less than a year later, he decides to give up track. He's not just your everyday, I'm going to go run on the track team and have a good college career. Like, he could have run in the Olympics. And to give that up, to solely focus on football, that's hard to give up one of those loves. And what I've seen is him give up that love and then pour all that energy and emotion and just pour it into football. And that's what he's done with his work ethic, just on and off the field. He's improved so much. He works so hard, and he's got a great mindset about the way that he goes about his business. He's having fun out there. You can see it, just plays he makes, special teams. He's another one. You ought to watch him cover kicks as well. So he's a big guy that can run, as you guys know, and he's worked really, really hard, and proud of him because that's not an easy decision to make.
Yeah. And McGee, which we already talked about here with one of your, you've had several of your swimmers swim in the Olympics and certainly get to Olympic trials. And we mentioned Akram Mahmoud, one of your best swimmers ever, just recently being named into the Gamecocks Hall of Fame. Swimming for the United States of America and being on the track team for the United States of America may be two of the most difficult things for an athlete to achieve. Mm-hmm. And Shane's not wrong when he says, an opportunity. That's, I think Nick was working himself into an opportunity. But if you're gonna run sprints for the United States in the Olympics, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And then when you've done it, this goes back to my joke about like Will Muschamp. When you've run a lot and trained a lot, then you go run a lot and train a lot more. Mm-hmm. So now he's given that up for a year. You've been around athletes that again have literal Olympic experience, and you mentioned, and Shane just mentioned the love. Mm-hmm. So I want you to be like a fan and a coach at the same time here on how difficult that might be for someone, because I think again to hit the level that he can hit, mm-hmm. it's different than just running's fun.
Yeah, it is a whole different level, and even when you just talk about being at the University of South Carolina and being an SEC school, your athletics, whether it be swimming, track, football, it takes a step up to a huge level there. And then talk about when you represent the United States, it's another level up from that. And so the level of focus that each individual sport requires, the fact that he is as elite as he is at both, because without a doubt, he is elite at both. There's nothing more impressive than watching some of those old races when he would run the 100 meters. He looks like he's running against 8-year-olds.
Yeah. It didn't look like a dad running with his kids.
Yeah, it really did. And so, the level that it takes to get there, but then to be as good as he is at both. I've had the opportunity, in my current job, I've actually had the opportunity to talk to Nick's parents and his family, and he's surrounded by good people. And so I'm confident when I say that this involved a lot of conversation with them and the coaches, and but I think I can't imagine, because he loves both.
Yeah,
like he's a competitor, he's an athlete. There's nothing better in competition than just pure racing. Like I'm faster than you. Whatever that is, at running, at swimming.
Well, it's the basics, right?
I mean, then you take those skills and you put it on a football field and you add all this stuff to it. So I know it must have been. Maybe it wasn't a difficult decision for him. I don't know that, but I can imagine that there was a lot of back and forth coming to this final decision of I'm going to go with football. There's opportunities there that maybe track can't provide, and so as a fan. I'm really excited to see what he can do on the field this year with a full spring, practice in and dedicating everything to football.
And is he the one, Terry, that has to take the biggest step this season?
Out of the receivers, out of the guys, I think if you can get Nick Harbor to stop thinking and just play, right, and react. When you're thinking, you're not playing as fast as you can.
Right.
If you get him to the point where he's just doing football things naturally, then I think that speed unleashes. And now you've got a guy with world-class speed now affecting the football game with world-class speed. And that's rolling coverages. That's making, now you have to account for this guy. And that opens up the field for a lot of other guys. So, yeah, if he can take that next step, the things that can unlock for this offense, I think, are huge.
And one of the things that we've talked about, not that they do this, but you can't use Nick Harbor as a decoy. That will only go so far. And I think that's one of the main reasons why focusing solely on football is going to be beneficial for him because, again, just catching the football and the practice, and using the jugs machine and things like that, and constantly doing that and not splitting those times or missing an entire spring and for the right reasons.
Right.
To be running track.
And I guess, to you real quick, McGee, the idea that the thought is, okay, it's not an Olympic year, so let's put everything into football. It's not that easy to go, you know what, I'll put that track thing off for a year, and you know what, I might come back to it and try to run in the Olympics down the road. It's a whole different training set from football to track. So speak of just deciding to stop yourself on the training road for the Olympics and then maybe trying to come back to it later.
Well, I'll preface it by saying this. Nick Harbor's not a normal athlete.
Right.
And so I'm not going to sit here and say that he can't do that. Like, it's not going to happen because I've seen some really, really crazy things just watching him perform. Mm-hmm. Now, I think training-wise, if being a sprinter on the track, that's possibly the best thing he could be in order to come back to it if he wanted to do that. Mm-hmm. But I think, I don't know. I'm not in that room. I don't know the discussions that they had. But, I think if he's full go with football, he's probably full go through his college career. And at that point, he's probably looking at this as I've got a really good NFL career, and they're not going to take too kindly to me taking time off for track then. And
I guess to your point, the next Olympics is until after his football career is over in South Carolina.
At South Carolina.
Yeah.
So he has a chance to really devote himself to football and see where he's at the end of it, that whole deal.
Correct. And, you said a minute ago that he needs time to be able to stop thinking and just start. I think it's really important to go back. He wasn't a wide receiver. And sometimes we forget that. Like, he played a lot of defense. And so what
he was a D end and a tight end.
Yep. So you can be all the athlete you want to be, but when you do have to think. And so now I think he is getting to that point where it's becoming natural and it's becoming just part of his instinct. And once it becomes instinct, the game elevates for him too, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, and one of the things that I've thought about, the next, as you mentioned, Terry, the next Olympics is slightly under 3 years away. He'll be like 24. Mm-hmm. The thing is, it may well be that when he's 28 in the 32 games, that might be where his sprinter, because again, those dudes, they're like any other pro athlete. That's when you're in your
sweet
prime.
Spot.
Yeah, so I mean, he's got time to focus on football for a bit.
That was your prime.
Yeah, I'm not out of my prime. You mean was?
You can still hit 80 on the gun, can't you?
I can. If you like turn the 6 into an 8,
he can hit the 80 on the speedometer.
If it malfunctions, yeah. I don't even know how. I don't even want to throw a baseball hard. All right, a little J or nay, and we'll let McGee give us a start bench drop on the other side. Welcome back in. Final few minutes of our second hour coming up top of the hour. 5 o'clock headlines. More on our Gamecock Notebook at 5:15 with more from Coach and a couple of players. Jay, Terry, McGee Moody hanging out with us here as well. All right, first we put you, well, it's not on the spot. You've heard it all hour here, but start, bench, drop, Coach.
This was not that hard for me. Actually.
Baseball spring training, NBA summer league, NFL preseason.
So I'm a football guy.
Okay.
So NFL preseason goes at the top.
All right, you can start preseason.
And spring training is legendary.
Yep.
So, but it still doesn't eclipse football for me.
Okay.
So it's bench.
So you get bench.
And I don't think I've ever watched an NBA summer league game ever in my life. I couldn't tell you what was going on with it or
That's
nothing.
fair.
So,
That's good.
That's good.
So I'm cutting that one pretty easily.
All right. Let's
How
see.
tough was it with the spring training in the football preseason?
Tougher than it should have been, I think. I actually love NFL preseason. I feel like there are guys out there that
This will be the last time McGee Moody's on the show.
No,
Yeah,
I do.
so his mic just got cut off.
No,
It's really weird.
here's the thing. I do. I love it because there are guys whose careers are on the line.
Yeah, I know what you
And
mean.
while your starters are out there and they're going to play 3 plays and hit the sideline, there are guys out there that are scratching and clawing. And I actually like the third and fourth quarters of the preseason games the best.
I don't know
you
who
like
they
the
are.
guys who are fighting for their jobs.
Yes. Who doesn't like that, man? You got to watch it. It's football.
It's more like so McGee likes it for the Hunger Games aspect
Yeah,
of
that's
it,
what it
right?
is.
That
It's
is
like-
that's
Or the
actually a
running
great
man.
analogy.
Yeah.
It's like what was that? What was that show that was big for like a year or two? It was, I guess, a Japanese show where people were
Squid
like
Games.
Yeah, Squid Games.
Korean, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah,
Squid
yeah.
Games.
Yeah,
Korean?
Squid Games.
Squid
yeah,
Games.
Yeah.
You're a sick man, McGee.
Well, probably some truth to that, I think.
Yeah, Squid Games. That's
I never watched it, by the way.
that's. I watched a little bit of it, and quite honestly, that's not really my bag. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But that for the people that like it. Now, I did love The Running Man with Schwarzenegger,
Oh, that was really good.
and I think they're making another one.
That was a
I
good
think they're
movie.
going to reboot
Excellent
that
movie.
for a modern audience. And I like The Hunger Games, so I get where McGee's coming from on that. All right, little J or Nay time
Wait a
here.
minute, you don't do anything without the music.
we gotta have music.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I got it right here. All these stupid windows are open. I get the right one. There we go.
There it is.
All righty. J or nay? Shador Sanders, really good in preseason game number 1. Might sit out preseason game number 2, a little oblique.
Yep.
Shador Sanders will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns before the end of 2025. J or nay?
Oh, before the end of
The season.
so not to start, just at some point he'll
before the
start.
end of the season, will he be the starting quarterback? You got 70 quarterbacks in that room. Bernie Kosar's back. It's insane.
All right, if you're okay, I want to be able to get away with this in either direction by saying J, but I want it to be like he'll start a game.
No, the starting quarterback.
But being the starting quarterback is a different, like Joe
Yes.
Burrow is the starting
Yes.
quarterback. Lamar Jackson is the
Yes.
starting quarterback.
Yes.
Nay.
Nay. Okay, you're going nay?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm just not convinced yet.
Not yet? Okay. Good deal.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. That's why I say, will he start a game? Yeah. J. Will he be the starter?
All right. News out of Falcons camp. Starting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. was involved in a practice fight
Oh,
in the practice with the Titans.
okay.
Jay or nay, you down with your starting quarterback getting in any kind of a fight on the field?
As long as it's only screaming,
No, he's actually physical altercation.
that's a bad idea, son.
He needs that arm and hand to throw.
Those hands matter. You need
right.
to take care of your hands like a violinist or a piano player. So, nay, I'm not down with that. Again, you want to scream and holler, but you don't need to be throwing punches, dude.
You do this one. Ready? Hold me back. Hold me
Yeah.
back. Your offensive line.
You don't
hold me
even,
back.
I mean, like, who was it? Jordan Love just had to have a little thumb thing, and because he can't hand off.
Right.
It's his left thumb,
But you
but
gotta be able
he
to take a
can't he
snap,
can't turn
hand
around
off.
and hand off. So he had to. So he'll be out like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So even if it's Penix is left-handed, so even if he's throwing right-handed punches, like
No.
no. So
Don't even kick
so
anybody.
that's a nay.
Use your legs. Don't
That's
kick
a-
people. Don't do anything.
That's a nay.
That's a nay.
Again, scream and holler all you want.
All right, we have the NCAA rules. They are making these official now. How to combat the practice of players faking injuries. So, beginning this season, if a player on the field presents an injury after the ball is spotted for the next play, that player's team will be charged a timeout. If the team doesn't have a timeout, there'll be a 5-yard delay of game penalty. Jay or nay, this will fix the fake injury.
Nay, what'll fix it is a 15-yard penalty.
Yes.
15-yard penalties. Coaches would rather pay you $250,000 than get a 15-yard penalty. They'd rather seriously. They'd rather pay you than have a 15-yarder.
Well, you know what it is too. Now these guys are just going to fall down before the ball's spotted.
Well,
I mean, come on. There's always ways to weasel rules.
Yeah, and there'll be plenty of coaches who try to game the system, man.
Even though the only thing about it, and I can't stand the injuries. It drives me crazy. But to watch the player look at the sidelines and see the coach go down and the guy falls down like somebody shot him.
He's been sniped.
It's highly entertaining in a bad way.
Yeah. Coach, good to have you come in, man. Appreciate you. Best to the family.
Where are you going?
Well, you want to hang out? Hang out. All right, hang out. I didn't know if he was going to. I didn't know. I think he's got stuff to do.
I might have time for one more.
All right, let him hang out then.
You hang out with your family every day now, man. You hang out with us.
He can come do the news.
Well, if my wife's listening, she might be screaming at you right now. So.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Hour 3 coming up.
All right, so you want to get some cabinets done at the house. And we always talk about the kitchen, but sometimes you put cabinets all over the house, right? Not just the kitchen. So no matter where you need cabinets, no matter what you're doing regarding cabinets, you got to make one phone call to the folks at CHW Cabinetry at 803-520-6837. You just call and say, look, this is the project I'm looking at. Can you help me out? If it's cabinets, CHW Cabinetry will say, yes, we can. They'll come out. They will measure. They will take a look at things. And you will get what I think is the most phenomenal part of all this. You will then get photo renderings to show you exactly how the new space is going to look. Make that phone call. Get the process going. CHW Cabinetry, 803-520-6837. All right, we have some accidents to get to. Garner's Ferry Road near Old Eastover Road, also Hardscrabble Road near Summit Parkway. 77 southbound at Killian Road, that's exit 22. Also Broad River Road near Freshly Mill Road. I-20 westbound at Broad River Road, that is exit 65. And then we have some roads shut down because of construction. Atomic Road, north and southbound. The bridge is blocked at Blink Bonnie Road between Belfield Road and Ridgetop Lane. Also, construction I-20 between exit 64 and 65. Also, I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road. I-26 between Hugie and I-26. All of that long-term construction. We'll get back with the 5 o'clock news here on the Postgame Show.
It is 5 o'clock news time here on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Also, the final hour of the post-game show alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Gamecock football camp continues. Yesterday, Coach Beamer and several of his players had a big media opportunity and discussing a number of things, from special teams to defense to Emily Beamer's chocolate chip cookies.
And that became a thing on Netflix.
Yeah, and Shane not being an actor, at least a part-time actor, on his favorite television show. So a host of things discussed yesterday, but one of them was the first scrimmage of August camp. And here is Coach Beamer's assessment of the things he learned.
Offense didn't turn the ball over. That was good. I look back at my notes from last year. They didn't turn the ball over in that scrimmage last year either. Now, y'all heard me talk about we did in the season some, but that was good to have. I mean, we got, I think, 117 plays in the other night, and the year before that scrimmage was 108, I believe. So we got more plays, and there were no turnovers. Now, there were some plays, some throws where receivers got their hands on the throw and probably should have been an interception, but they weren't able to finish the catch. So that's good. I think when you can go in there and have 117 plays and not turn the ball over, that's a start, because we know how important turnover margin is in college football. And then just seeing young guys make plays. I thought we punted the ball well in there. We did some good things from a special team standpoint, and then seeing young guys being in the stadium for the first time and handling that environment.
By the way, if you felt something in your soul just now, that was our very dear friend Tommy Moody nodding when Shane said how much turnover margin matters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. If there was one thing in the sport of football that Tommy was like, don't turn the ball around. That's if you I could feel his presence here in the room.
Yes.
As Shane said that. One more here from Coach Beamer. South Carolina, as a lot of us expected, inside the top 15 in the preseason rankings, at least from the coaches and the AP vote. Some have left Carolina off. Shane's been using that as motivation. But overall, how is he handling it? How does he have his team handle those expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be ranked high and have those expectations than not. I mean, as a coach, when you're not ranked high like we were last year, it's great because you can use that as fuel and motivation. But we want to be a team that's consistently ranked high in the top 10, top 15 going into every single season, because it means we did some good stuff the year before and we're expected to do stuff again. And the best teams in the country year in, year out, they're in those preseason rankings every year. But those teams, and what we're continuing to convey to our guys, and we've been talking about it since the beginning, is all that matters is just what we do from this point forward. If you had a good season the year before and your quarterback returns, you're probably going to be ranked pretty high, and that's what we are. Now, do I think we're a good team? Heck yeah. And we also have a lot of work to do, but as you saw last year, there's a lot of teams that, or every year, there's teams that are ranked in that preseason top 10, top 15 that won't be at the end of the season, and there's a lot of teams that aren't right now that will be at the end of the season as well. So just making sure that our guys understand every year is different, and we didn't really listen to it when everybody was telling us how terrible we were, maybe a little bit, but we don't need to be listening to it now when everybody's telling us how great we are, because you say, all right, we're ranked 13th, and we are, but I also know there's some prominent media members that put out their own little polls that we're not in their top 25. So we still got a lot to prove, and I know our players understand that and feel that too.
And I do wonder where that motivation comes from in wanting to remain one of those teams. Because, like you said, it's almost a 50. I think last year, of the top 25 preseason AP teams, 13 of them finished the season ranked. So 12 did not finish ranked.
Right.
And South Carolina is one of the teams that broke in and finished ranked. This is the highest preseason ranking for South Carolina in 11 football seasons. So this is the heaviest burden of expectation that this program has had in a long, long time. And I get why there are some that have not. I mean, Brett McMurphy explained it well. Greg McElroy was on this very radio station just a couple of days ago talking with Tyler and the boys about why he didn't put South Carolina in his top 25. And his reasoning is solid. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
Right.
But he says basically, look, this is a projection. And they have so many questions on defense. If those questions are answered successfully, guess what? You'll be ranked.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say, because I remember with some games, like baseball fans would be, how come I was like, dude, go win your games.
You know, I would say, you know what handles all this?
Yeah.
W's.
Just go win your games.
You stack like last year. You won 6 straight. Guess where you ended up?
Yeah.
And that's just you win. It all takes care of itself. This preseason stuff, especially now, guys. These teams change from year to year. Very few teams come back experienced. 2 teams are coming back pretty experienced. Penn State, Clemson. Where are they ranked right now?
Yeah, top 5.
Most teams have question marks all over the place because of the world we live in.
Right.
So this is real. You want to talk about throwing darts blindfolded? I mean, it's like this now more than ever. I want to ask you real quick, McGee. When you were a coach, did you like to be a top dog with all the expectations? Did you like to be disrespected so you could use the disrespect card?
The funny thing, Terry, is I was literally just about to say I would love to find out from Coach Beamer which he would prefer to do. You know, it's obviously it's much different in the swimming world because it's not as big it's not as big a media sport where everything you say, everything that happens, everything that goes on is put out immediately within seconds on social media. So it's a little bit different, you know, from where I'm coming from. I wanted to play the underdog card. I always like to try to use that to motivate my athletes, but I would, especially for football, basketball coaches, I would love to know, especially with as media as influential as they are, which is more, in their mind, more difficult. How do they navigate that? Because I do think you have to handle them both very differently. They're
Nick Saban used to say rat poison.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
tell them how good they are. It's rat poison.
and I think that was so strategic. That was no mistake.
Right. Oh,
He was.
absolutely.
That was as scripted as anything he's ever done in his life. But you know, I would love to know which one they viewed harder, because you know, does a football player look at that negative feedback and do they get motivated by that, or is it more damaging to start to kind of feel yourself a little bit and get pumped up and think you're maybe a little bit better than you actually are, which is more difficult for that head coach to control? I was literally just getting ready to put the same thing out there.
I think for now, Carolina is probably more able to benefit, this is just my opinion, from still saying, hey, they whoever they are, don't believe in you. Eventually, again, because the same thing for Saban and the rat poison, it was the same basic final answer, if you will, of you better go win the next game. You know, you better, I mean, so they expect you to win, you better win. Or they don't expect you to win, go win. I mean, either way, it's go win. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so in that respect, I don't want to say it's simple, easier said than done. Hey, all you do is win.
Yeah. And you know, it handles everything, right?
Yeah, it's
W's fix it all.
But it is basically that simple. Speaking of winning, the Atlanta Braves did not last night. It was a good game until it wasn't. It was 5-5 for a bit, and then New York scored 8 straight, and the Braves lost 13.
And then your favorite player, Pete Alonso, became the Mets' all-time leading home run hitter.
You know, Pete Alonso actually, it's funny, he doesn't, you know who my favorite player of all time is clearly Bryce Harper. He's my favorite.
Oh, well, then, yeah. Bryce Harper, yes. He's your Patrick Reed of baseball, Bryce Harper. Who do you hate more, Bryce Harper or Patrick Reed?
Reed.
Yeah, ready.
I do, man.
Ready?
I think Reed. I don't know that I can find an.
I was going to say I got over under. Ready? The rest of the sports world and Patrick Reed. Does Patrick Reed win?
Yeah. He really does, man. He really does. Because I just think that dude. Well, I don't want to get into it right now because we're in the news segment, but yeah, I don't think I have. I'm trying.
I've known you about 4 years now. I don't think there's anyone you hate worse. Well, maybe Rick Springfield, but besides Rick Springfield, I don't think there's anybody to the level.
I would
of
buy
your
all.
hate.
If you said he had to buy all of Rick Springfield's albums and Patrick Reed would never win again,
Would you have a collection?
I all of them.
What about White Lion?
And White Lion. Hell, I might buy John Daly's album.
The John Daly. Oh my God! You need to torture prisoners. With
I
that John
would.
Daly.
That would work.
I'll tell you anything. Turn that
Dude,
off.
it was
oh my God.
that was wretched. All right, let's move on here. Braves and Mets, by the way, back at it tonight. Carlos Carrasco, that's right, he's still pitching, is going for Atlanta. David Peterson, the big lefty, will go for New York. 7:10 up at Citi Field, right across the street from what used to be Shea Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, right there by the airport.
Where?
That way.
That way?
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, I had to make sure I get my bearings right. North is that way. Yeah. We just flew over Citi Field last spring. It's a nice park. I've never been to a game there, but it's a nice park. I like LaGuardia, believe it or not.
You like LaGuardia?
Well, that Delta wing at LaGuardia was nice, man. Not like old LaGuardia. that new Delta wing, man. Just fly Delta here. Free plug. Fly Delta to LaGuardia, and thank me later. All right. The Portland Trailblazers have been sold. And Tom Dundon that will buy them. Some of you around here may know who that is. He owns the Carolina Hurricanes, and he has agreed to buy the Blazers from the Paul Allen estate for a shade over $4 billion. The Portland Trailblazers going for more than $4 billion. Paul Allen, of course, helped co-found Microsoft with Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer. Passed away back in 2018. His sister has been running both the Blazers and the Seahawks since he passed away. They're keeping the Seahawks. They're not for sale, and neither is the family's stake in the Seattle Sounders MLS club. But they agreed to sell the Blazers, and now with the NBA's new deal, I guess, Terry, there's a lot of numbers in there, so the price goes up. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Dundon says he will not be moving the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think the NBA ownership group would allow the Blazers.
That fan base loves that team.
I mean, I say that because, but that's just it's like saying it's like the Spurs. That's all they got. I mean, I know they've got the Timbers and they love the Timbers out there, but it's not the same
and
level.
The other part of that to me is I guess you say that because look, the Supersonics were popular in Seattle, but you know what they wouldn't do in Seattle?
They wouldn't give what
build an arena.
Yeah, and Seattle's it's just a different animal. There's so many big things going on. I mean, Seattle's a much bigger city.
So I guess the point is now everybody always gets nervous. There's a new guy from out of town. You want to come and get the team and move it. You're not moving that team out of Portland.
I don't think so.
No, that's not happening.
But he says he's not. And they have plans to discuss a public-private partnership with the city and the state.
You know what can I tell you what that means?
Y'all pay for it, and I'll keep them.
Exactly. I'll stay here as long as you give us money for a nice, shiny arena, baby.
Right. That's our integrated media headlines of the day before we pause for our Gamecock Notebook. Again, we will let Coach get out of here, but great to have Coach McGee Moody, one of our favorite guests of all time here on 107.5.
If you're ever just going down Gervais, come on in, man. You're always welcome.
I've told you guys, I think you've got the greatest job on the planet. You get to sit here and talk about sports all day, and now, but look, always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Right back at you.
It's always fun, man.
Best
always
to the
enjoy
family.
having you, my man.
And we'll get next time because McGee had a great. We just don't have time to get to it. But now that he's got a daughter who's being recruited to swim, and he's not a recruiter himself, whole different mindset.
You know what? I want to hear Cruton stories.
Yeah.
We have some Cruton stories.
Some Cruton stories?
Yeah.
I like some Cruton stories.
That's all. Well, hey, if nothing else, McGee can. He's always attested in any college sport. It's all about recruiting.
Absolutely.
That is 100% true.
Absolutely. That's what drove him.
I say it about football, but I'm sure it applies everywhere. There's 10 things that are important to a college program. 7 of them are recruiting.
I will say this to you. I've said it on the air. I give you guys props. I couldn't do it. There's no way possible I could do it. I give you guys a lot
What
of
do you mean
credit,
you don't
man.
want to come play for me?
It's 24 hours a day. It never stops. I was taking phone calls at 2:30 in the morning from Egypt trying to get Akram Mahmoud over here to school.
And now he's in the Hall of Fame.
And now he's in the Hall of Fame. It's
So
worth it.
It worked.
All worth it.
It
Oh,
worked.
man.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Gamecock Notebook is next.
feel like everybody in our receiver room has gotten bigger, faster, and stronger. I feel like blocking is blocking, and we gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? With the workouts that we do with Coach Day, we moving heavy objects every day. So I feel like blocking is not gonna be a problem.
That's Mazio Bennett on wide receivers doing their part in the run game or whenever else they may need to block. Welcome back in. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. Time for our Gamecock Notebook here on this Wednesday. As yesterday, Coach Beamer, several players, including Mazio, Casey Henry, Oscar Attaway, DQ Smith, all speaking to the media, and we'll be able to have some of that for you over the course of the next little bit. Earlier today, we had a cut from Shane talking about Cutter Woods and Air Nolan and how they were progressing. Shane admitting that at this point still, Luke Doty is South Carolina's number 2 quarterback. And Terry and I, I don't want to say debated, but just discussed how important it is to maybe have one of those younger quarterbacks emerge as the number 2, not only, in case of fire, break glass situations, but to also, you always have to have, we just talked about, we weren't joking with McGee Moody just now, and any of you know this that follow football. While you focus on your current squad, you must always be thinking about the future in college sports. It's all about the, recruiting and who comes next. And even if these guys are on the team, does one of these guys emerge during the year, during August camp right now, to, go into next year as the leader in the clubhouse? Again, I don't want to say that's incredibly important, and you better figure that out. It's not, but it matters. At the same time, and that while that's, I think, an important battle, it may well be that special teams right now is the one that still needs to get figured out. And it's not just who's going to kick. Again, who's going to return, who are on all of those teams. This is a longer answer, but we know how much Shane loves special teams. So where is that unit after a few weeks and a scrimmage? Cut number, 10, sir.
I think we're moving along. I thought, like I said, we've punted the ball well, consistently. I feel like we have kicked well for the most part. Always could be a little bit more consistent. So pleased there. Return game, we've spent a lot on. We don't really do a lot of live, really none. Cover a kick and tackle. It's all, tag off or thud up. But I feel like we've made improvement in the return game, and we got some guys that can certainly run, that have size and speed and can cover kicks as well. So I'm pleased. This will be a big week for us this week as well, but they're really, really working hard. And it's awesome, though. You talk about culture and guys being able to see other guys do things. Seniors, Brian Thomas, DQ Smith. Those are 2 guys that are really doing a great job and working really, really hard on special teams. So it's a great moment when you're able to show those guys on tape doing that to younger guys as well, because a lot of these freshmen, when they come in, they didn't come to South Carolina to be the left tackle on the punt team. I'm going to go play linebacker, and I'm going to go play the running back and all that. So making them understand, because a lot of them probably didn't play special teams in high school, and making sure they understand the importance of it and really emphasizing to them. We've got 114 players on our roster right now, and we're only allowed to take 74 to SEC away games. So making sure those guys understand that those are hard decisions every week, who the 74 that we take are. And a lot of the times it's going to come down to special teams.
I think, again, it's good. There's going to be a game somewhere where that's going to matter. And can you find that difference maker? Again, is it going to be a long kick to win a game or to tie a game or to keep you in a game? Is it going to be a punt that flips the field? Is it going to be a return for a score? There's going to be something somewhere. That's the nature of the beast. And I always come back around to something, and I know I've said it already this camp. I'll probably say it again at some point in the coming weeks. How do you create, especially in the kicking game? Returning is one thing. I think that's easier to explain and replicate, I think. But how do you create that drama and that pressure in the kicking game, this time of year in terms of making guys?
I think you can't.
Yeah, does that only come around in games? But if I'm weighing the two, I wish I could have a third unit, but I don't right now, Terry. But if I'm starting and benching, at least, so I'll ask you: start, bench, the backup quarterback battle, or the special teams battles.
Special teams starts. Well, I mean, look, we've seen it affect for the good and the bad, right? I mean, we saw for a few years here it affect the good. Kai Kroger never had an incompletion for how many years, right? Our dude was
and a couple of
it.
touchdowns.
He was slinging it everywhere.
And he should have had one more last year. The guy called back on a 5-yarder.
Remember that?
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
But we also saw, Alex Herrera miss a couple of big kicks last year that were important.
Yeah.
We've seen some turnovers on special teams. We've seen the special teams force turnovers. I think with me, Jay, I just hold your own, especially with all these new pieces. Hold your own. Now, later in the year, if you can start making some game-winning plays or game-changing plays, but just don't be the reason you lose a game.
Right.
Right? Just at least hold your own through the beginning of this thing while you're trying to get all these new players, used to their roles. Last thing you want is for us to be cracking a mic on a Monday saying, can't believe special teams did that.
Yeah.
Just
no,
don't
absolutely.
Want that. We don't want to know the name of the holder or the long snapper all year. Don't want to know who they are, right? At all.
Not till the end of the year.
That's right. We can do at the end of the year. Go, hey, we didn't talk about you all year. Way to go, man.
That's right.
So I'm with you. I think the more important conversation, special teams.
Yeah, I agree. And like I say, I don't even know how to weigh them or 64. I'm not trying to turn the backup quarterback thing into too much of a storyline. I do think it is a story.
Yeah.
And I do think it does. I think it matters. As we said last year, for those who didn't hear us, in the early part of the program when we discussed this, when it comes to the backup quarterback situation, is Lenoris missed nearly 2 full games last year. Not quite, but I mean, one whole game, half of another, and part of a third up there at Kentucky. And again, Robbie Ashford did the best that he, and Ashford, he was solid. He's what you kind of, but
the best part of him, he was a veteran. He had been at Oregon and at Auburn, so
he played well at Kentucky.
Power 4.
I thought his role.
He was all right at Kentucky. He had a nice game against Akron.
He had a really good game, and you were always going to beat Akron.
And he had his moment to really shine in that game because he took over that game from the quarterback position. LSU, though, the second half was a mixed bag.
Right.
It just was. And, look, the backup is never going to be as good as your starter, or you got a problem.
Right.
But you just want – so your backup, you just don't – again, you want them to come in and be able to hold the fort, right? Just don't start turning the rock over and throwing touchdown passes to defensive backs and fumbling all over the place. And just got to go in there and be able to hold your own. But you go from a veteran like Ashford to, let's say it's Aaron Nolan, plays many games as you and I.
Yeah.
So with Luke Doty, he's a veteran at least.
And the moment won't intimidate him. And there's always that what if for Luke going all the way back to the beginning of Shane's time here. Like, man, what if he doesn't break his foot? Like, what's that look like?
Yeah, I know the thing, too, and look, the spring game, you can't make everything out of the spring game. But the one thing I liked watching Doty in the spring game, Jay, he looked comfortable playing the position of quarterback.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, the first spring game I watched, Rattler's first year, it was my first spring game. Rattler's Rattler. He's a quarterback. He's he's going to be poised. He's going to be able to handle himself. Doty did not look comfortable at quarterback. Happy feet, couldn't really hang in the pocket, always looking to take off. He just wasn't. Remember, he was an athlete in high school.
Right.
We talk about Nick Harbor. Doty wasn't a guy that threw, for 5,000 yards in high school or something. He was a project. He looked much more comfortable this past spring. So if you're looking for silver linings, I mean, at least to your point, he's a veteran. He looked a lot more comfortable playing the position. If he's your backup, okay. He's a veteran guy who seems to be comfortable back there. He's going to be Lenoris? Of course not.
And that may be, to the point that you mentioned earlier, that may be why he remains the number 2 all season long. It's the poise, and again, the moment won't be too big for him. He's been in it, even if not that often. He's seen it. Before we get out of here for our drive around the SEC, if you would like to go tomorrow night on a Thirsty Thursday to the Fireflies Pelicans game over at beautiful Segra Park, text Fireflies right now to 803-404-6100. And the first one we get, and it'll be time-stamped, is going to get a family 4-pack to tomorrow night's game. So enjoy some nice weather and some cold ones. And the Fireflies and the Pelicans. 803-404-6100. Text us the word Fireflies and your name and your email.
Yep.
Yeah, don't just text Fireflies and that's it.
It's not really going to help us.
Yeah, but you got to text Fireflies, your name, your email, and first one
All right.
is going tomorrow night. Drive Around the SEC is next.
Let's check the situation on the roads. We have an accident I-77 southbound between Alexander's Bridge and 12th Street. Again, 2 left lanes are blocked. Fort Jackson Boulevard near I-77, another accident. Highway 6 near Sharon Church Road in Lexington. Back in Columbia, St. Andrews Road at Westcott Road. Then we have closed due to road construction, Atomic Road, both north and southbound. Bridge blocked, Blink Bonnie Road between Belfield Road and Ridgetop Lane. Then the long-term construction we're getting used to. I-26 between Hugie and 26, I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run, and I-26 between exit 64 and 65, Broad River Road. We'll come back, drive around the SEC.
It is drive around the SEC time here on a Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back in. Also update you on our poll question here in just a second. And our start bench drop, getting a few more of those in. Today's start bench drop, by the way, if you want to participate. Major League Baseball spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason. Which of those, exhibition seasons, if you will, is the one you're most excited about every year? Or in the case of one guy, I think his name was Jason, who said none of them.
You know what's sad? Because obviously that wasn't a choice. I probably lean with Jason.
Like I told you, to be serious while we're having fun with it, I was like, I'll take it as seriously as you guys do. I still feel like baseball takes theirs the most seriously because you got to be ready to go, even though it's ironic in that baseball is the longest season. But baseball is the spring where once you start, I mean, I realize that, look, not every pitcher that starts in the rotation is going to, be ready to go 7 innings and throw 100 pitches because, hell, they don't do that in August.
Right.
But you still have to be, in game shape. And I'm not saying football players or basketball players aren't. But we've heard some NFL coaches kind of complaining about that. Like, we kind of got off to a slow start, and we don't play any of our guys in August, and maybe more guys are going to play now. We'll see. I don't know.
It's interesting. You feel like baseball has to take it more seriously in some ways.
Yeah.
Like they have no choice. Like I'm sure a manager would love to go, you know what I'd like to do like they do in the NFL or the NBA and kind of keep my vets out until we play for real. But you got to get run in baseball to get yourself ready to go. You got to face pitching, and for pitchers have to face hitters and all that stuff. So it's almost like spring training's built that if you go to a game, you're going to see, at least for a few at-bats, the starters.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a starting pitcher go at least a few innings when he's trying to stretch the arm out to get ready. Does that make sense?
It does. I agree. And again, maybe we'll see some more. Maybe next week in some of these NFL games, we see some guys go a little bit more. But anyway, that's today's start bench drop. Major League Baseball spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason.
We'll have some later on the old Firehouse subtext line.
Good.
We'll hook you up.
By the way, we were so excited to give away a family 4-pack of tickets to the Fireflies that if you stay tuned, we'll tell you when. So you can't do it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we may have another opportunity for you to win some more tickets.
Really?
But I'm not going to tell you how to do it yet because I don't want anybody to get ahead of the curve.
Because
it might be the wrong thing to do.
You don't want to do it. Don't want to do it yet.
So this I know is going to make Carolina fans go, when are they going to say something about us? And I hear you saying that right now. Today, the University of Tennessee announced a new apparel and equipment deal with Adidas, which includes what the school is calling an unprecedented NIL program. They will be going back to Adidas for the first time in 2014. They were with them for 20 school years. Mm-hmm. And then they went to Nike for the last 12. Now, after a decade, Tennessee and Adidas will have signed a new 10-year deal that starts next school year. Said Danny White, the AD at Tennessee, quote, "This partnership provides us with a significant advantage in the ever-evolving landscape of college sports. We take pride in our fan base and the competitive edge they offer us. We refuse to partner with someone who does not feel the same way." Tennessee says that Adidas will provide unprecedented NIL opportunities for athletes across all of the Volunteers varsity sports. And it says Adidas will immediately begin working towards securing NIL deals with Tennessee athletics during the coming school year. So they will begin to have those deals in place so that starting next summer, again at the basically, I think it's really July 1, but I'll just say next school year, those deals will be ready to go. And yes, South Carolina fans, the Under Armour deal runs out at the end of what is now the new school year. I have no idea what Jeremiah Donati and his team are working on when it comes to either re-upping with Under Armour or getting Nike or Adidas or anybody else.
How about Skechers? Slip-ons. Some Skechers slip-ons.
Oh, man. That'd be something, wouldn't it?
That would be something. Hey, serious question for you, because I didn't see, and maybe you saw it in what you read about this. Is this the deals that they're going to be brokering, Adidas, is this from the angle of outside rev share in the collective world, so to speak?
Yeah.
So basically, all these deals are going to be $599.99 to get past the.
No, because you can prove if it's over $600, you can prove that what these athletes will be doing is selling Adidas products.
Okay.
They'll be marketers.
They'll be marketing Adidas
for
products,
Adidas.
so you can go over the price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I just
Absolutely.
want to make sure that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
I think it's savvy, man.
No, it's past savvy.
Yeah.
This is what you got to do. I mean, I think, and again, Tennessee has a great collective, but you got to go out and find your Adidases. This is the new world now of these apparel deals. It's like, okay, now our people are going to basically be your influencers. Now you got to pay them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, and look, and they say too, and here's where I think it's savvy on a lot of levels, but another thing, this will be for all of their teams.
Exactly.
This isn't just going to be for a select few football, basketball, baseball players, and of course, women's basketball is gigantic up in Knoxville too. 20 sports, man. So, and that's why I say, look, no one's naive. Everybody knows who's the most popular athlete on the South Carolina campus. Right? It's Lenora Sellers.
Right.
You know, and Dylan Stewart is right there, with him. But you still got to take care of the track team, the tennis team, the golf team, the soccer team.
We've said this. It's at South Carolina, because the women's basketball team obviously is, if not the best, one of the 3 best programs in America.
Right.
And last time I checked, baseball matters here.
Yep.
So, with how much football is the show, you still have programs either A, are at an elite level, or B, you want them to get back to an elite level.
Yeah.
And then there's that men's basketball team.
Well, look, I mean, Kaylin Anderson just won the SEC in women's golf. The track team here is very good. The swim team here is good. The tennis teams have been advancing well into the NCAA tournament. And again, they're not going to make the kind of money that football does. Nobody expects it to.
No.
Nobody's even saying that it will. But you've got to find ways to take care of all of them. But Terry, these will be NIL. These will not be rev share deals. These are NIL deals, and there is a line between them.
Absolutely.
That we don't have the numbers, and this may well be kind of like Carolina on Monday not announcing the value of the deal that they just signed with Blanchard Machinery, but it's significant. It's the largest in school history. But if you start, the more I've thought about it, the more I think it's probably the better move. Because look, if you will, and I'm not like, when I say journalist, I'm not Mike Wallace, as I always say. But the journalist in me, the media member in me, just wants to. I have questions and I want answers. And one of the questions I had, and I did ask. Trust me, I have asked the folks across the street. They're not going to disclose that number. But the more I've learned about why, I get it. It's strategic.
Sure.
It's very significant for us. It's going to allow us to do a lot. But we're not going to tell anybody how much it is because we don't need our competitors knowing how much it was.
No, and you don't have to tell anybody.
Yeah, you don't have to. And I had somebody say, doesn't, as a state university, don't they have to? Athletics it's different.
Well, there's certain things you have to disclose, yes, as being a state entity.
Right.
But I don't believe this is one of them because you know what? It's a different kind of deal than what we're talking about. Like a football player, a football coach's contract.
Right.
That's public knowledge, right? Your budget is public knowledge. How much money you spend on this or that is public knowledge. This is a different animal.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I could be totally wrong.
Well, I still think, I mean, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I think somebody ultimately will probably find out about how much this deal is worth, or at least what the value of it is.
Or somebody will leak something because that's what happens.
That's, but anyway, Tennessee announcing today one more year with Nike, but then a 10-year deal to join up once again with Adidas. That will include massive NIL opportunities for all volunteer athletes. And I got to think that this is something that other schools will be very closely looking at. And again, Carolina's deal ends next year as well. That's the drive around the SEC. Lots more to do coming up.
As soon as the computer sets. And it did now. We're good. All right.
All right, final few minutes of our Wednesday afternoon program. Jay and Terry with you. Have our start bench drop results in just a second. Before we do anything else, as I told you, we're so generous today.
Yeah.
Well, we're not. But Josh is. The great Josh Yellman.
Tickets.
So instead of texting Fireflies this time, I have a pair of tickets left for tomorrow's game. Fireflies and the Myrtle Beach Pelicans at Segra Park. And it's a Thursday, so many of your sudsy adult beverages are half price. Text Josh to 803-404-6100 and include your name and your email.
Oh, man.
And you get a pair of tickets to tomorrow's Fireflies. You have to text Josh to 803-404-6100.
Josh.
All right?
That's good.
First one in.
That's good.
First come, first served.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
I like it.
Good luck. All right, a couple of speaking of the text line, Terry has a couple of start bench drops. Today's start bench drop category as preseason exhibitions, Major League Baseball spring training, NBA Summer League, NFL preseason. Start bench drop those three. We'll give you ours in a second.
Firehouse sub text line 803-404-6100. Start spring training, bench NFL preseason, drop NBA Summer League.
Okay.
Next one, start spring training, bench NFL preseason, drop NBA Summer League. And then drop all three. All three seasons are way too long.
Yeah. Again, I do like the fact that several of you have included some form of like D, which is none of them. And as I said, and I'm kind of serious about this, I will take them as seriously as the others take them. Mine is, this was not too difficult for me. And look, some of these aren't going to be as hard as others. I will start spring training.
Yeah, me too.
I have, look, and I've never been to an NBA Summer League game. I have been to NFL exhibition games. I've been to several spring training games down in Florida back in my youth. But I'll start spring training. And I do still care about spring training. Quite honestly, I don't give two you-know-whats about the others anymore. But I'll bench NFL, if only because kind of to McGee Moody's point, there's still something to it. NBA Summer League, again, no stars playing it. It's not really
a bunch of rookies, man.
Yeah, and even in a few exhibition games, so I don't care. So that one gets dropped.
Yeah, I'm like you. To be boring, start spring training because there's just something about spring training. You see more of the starters. I've been to spring training games. It's just a great vibe in Florida. It's fun.
It's a minor league park with major league players.
Yes, it is. It's just a cool vibe.
And it's beer, and it's March, and it's Florida.
And then you leave the game and go somewhere in Florida and sit under a palm tree and have more beer. NFL preseason, I'll bench. I've been to some preseason games, and I can barely stay awake.
Yeah.
But honestly, I love ball. I love basketball, man. I can't do the NBA Summer League to save my life. I have to drop it. Yeah. I just can't do it.
I've been to a couple of NFL games where I could barely stay awake. They weren't. Sometimes the NFL. Look, I love the NFL on television. NFL's a TV sport to me. There's certain games where you could probably be like, "Oh, this is an awesome game," but there's something about being at a college game that's just better.
I think the vibe of a college game is just more electric. I've been to NFL and college games both, and I think the vibe of a college game there's just more buzz.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I've been to some loud NFL stadiums in my life. But I just think that there's just something different of the feel of a college game.
Yeah. I think the NFL is it's just more
corporate.
Yeah.
It's more corporate and business-like.
All right, real quick, Jay versus the internet, and then we'll get out of here.
All right. Gotta get the music right here.
That's good.
All right, Shohei Ohtani, last time out, had 8 strikeouts. It's the only time he's had over 4 strikeouts in a game. Your over-under on Shohei Ohtani strikeouts, sir, 4.5.
Who are they playing? First off, that helps.
Angels.
Ooh, over.
All right. Your Braves are facing David Peterson tonight on the mound for the Mets. Peterson at home has been averaging 6 innings a start. Over-under on David Peterson tonight. Innings pitched 6 1/3. Over-under.
You know what? I'm going to go under because the Mets will probably be up big and then they can just sit him down. So I'll go under.
The Mariners right now have an 8-game winning streak. They're playing my Orioles to extend the streak to 9. The money line, Seattle -150, Baltimore +125. Do the Mariners extend their win streak tonight?
Well, I was wrong about the Brewers the other day, wasn't I? Sure, they'll extend it.
You're dead to me.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, by
Hey,
the way,
your team's having as bad a year as mine. So.
we can both sit around and be miserable
They
together.
were supposed to have better years. It was supposed
Both
to be
of
better.
them.
Yeah.
Both of them could have been looking like they would play in the World Series together by some experts.
I had a Braves shirt on yesterday when I was I saw somebody up when we were moving our daughter. It's like, Braves fan, huh? I was like, I hate the Braves. I was like, dude, it's been a bad year for me. Don't hate my Braves.
Why
Please.
are you hating the Braves this year?
He's a
Come on.
Yankees fan, too. And I was like, the Yankees? Come on, man. I was like, if you were a Met, you'd have something to say. Thanks to McGee Moody for joining us. Appreciate his time as always. For Terry, I'm Jay. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll do it again tomorrow. Later. One last note from our good friend Dr. Dan Blocknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. Listen, guys, as you're getting older, there are things in your life that just aren't working like they used to, all right? In between the ears, in the weight room, in the bedroom, and you're thinking, I thought that was going to be somebody else, not me. Why is it happening to me? Well, when you go see Dan and his team at the Men's Clinic, you'll get that one-on-one consultation that gets to the root of the issues, and they could be multifaceted, and you want answers. Don't be that guy who is embarrassed, because I know these things can be embarrassing. But listen, they are here to help you so that you are no longer feeling that way. And, you know, your mood can be altered by so many different things that are affecting your life. At the Men's Clinic, again, they're experts in treating these situations, get you the results that you're looking for, and you're not going to feel embarrassed about it because it's a one-on-one situation. Experts in healthcare for men, 803-875-MENS. Learn more right now at themensclinicsc.com.